right? In this session, my friend Harsha Vardhan Reddy and Naveen is present. Let's start the debate. Like, hey everyone, welcome to our discussion. Like today we are diving into a very controversial topic, which is a thought-provoking. Is data privacy a fundamental right? We'll explore different perspectives, real-life case studies, and their impact of privacy on industries and individuals.
Uh, many argue that many argue that information and knowledge should be freely accessible to all, and data piracy is just a tool to ensure that. With the internet breaking down barriers, should one access the digital content be restricted?
On the other hand, piracy is often seen as theft. It deprives creators of their rightful earnings and damages industries that rely on intellectual property protection. If we justify piracy, what does that mean for future innovations and content creations?
Yeah, Naveen, this is going to be a heated discussion. We'll present both sides with facts, opinions, and some real life careers. Let's get started. What is data piracy? Like, first let's define what is data piracy. When we talk about piracy, we often think of movies, music, and software. But piracy extends to books, academic research, and even property, business data. Asha, what's your take on this?
Well, piracy is essentially the unauthorized use, copying or distribution of copyrighted digital content. But in many cases, it's driven by necessity rather than greed. For instances, students who can't afford expensive textbooks or researchers who need access to paywall journals often have no choice but to go for the pirated content.
Yes, sir, Shah, this isn't that just an excuse. Piracy is still illegal, no matter the reason. If someone works hard to create content, they deserve to be compensated for it. Platforms like Spotify and Netflix already offer affordable subscriptions, and there are many free educational resources online, right?
Yeah, that's true, but not all platforms are accessible worldwide. Plus, in many countries, the price of legal content is simply too high, which normal citizen can't afford. A single research paper can cost somewhere around from $50 to $100. Should knowledge be a luxury only for those who can afford it? I guess not.
Yeah, Asha, you mean it's a battle between accessibility and ownership rights? Now let's look at how piracy affects different industries. Let's break this down industry by industry. First, the film and entertainment industry. Naveen, how does piracy affect it?
Piracy costs the entertainment industry billions of dollars each year. For example, in 2017, HBO's Game of Thrones was the most pirated TV show, with millions of illegal downloads per episode. This leads to revenue loss, and which in turn affects budgets for further productions and jobs in the industry of Hollywood. And then in 2019, movie Avengers Endgame, it was a there was a leaked online before it has been released, potentially impacting box office earnings. While it still became a blockbuster, smaller films don't recover as easily.
But at the same time, piracy can also boost popularity. Game of Thrones become a cultural phenomenon partly due to its massive online reach because of this piracy content. Many artists, including musicians, have admitted that piracy helped them gain a fan base, which later translated into concert sales and brand deals. Director Neil Blomkamp, who made District 9, a great movie, once said that piracy helped spread his movie globally. Instead of losing money, he gained recognition, which benefited his career.
Yeah, Asha, it looks interesting. Now, what about software piracy? Many people download cracked versions of expensive software like Photoshop and Microsoft Office.
Yeah, software companies also suffer huge financial losses due to piracy. Microsoft, Adobe, and even game developers lose millions because of people use pirated versions instead of purchasing the licenses due to its costs and other reasons. A classic example is Adobe moving to a subscription model, which is Creative Cloud, because one-time software purchases lead to too much of piracy. They had to change their business model only.
But isn't that proof companies can adapt? Open source alternatives like GIMP for Photoshop and LibreOffice exist because people needed free alternatives. If piracy forces company to innovate and offer better pricing, isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, Asha, it's a good point. Lastly, let's talk about academic piracy. Platforms like Science and become famous for providing free access to research papers that would otherwise be locked behind expensive paywalls. Is this ethical?
Well, Sci-Hub is a lifeline for students and researchers. In countries where universities can't afford general subscriptions, Sci-Hub, Sci-Hub means Scientific Hub, provides free access to knowledge that world otherwise be locked away. Should information that advances human progress be restricted?
Yeah, I get that, Shah, but the problem is sustainability. Research requires funding, and if journals don't make money, how do they fund the future studies? If piracy becomes normalized, who will invest in creating new knowledge?
Yeah, I mean, you mean to say that again we see the conflict between accessibility and
Yes.
sustainability. Let's now discuss whether piracy should be considered a fundamental right.
Now let's go into the other topic. Should data piracy be a fundamental right? Is another major question being asked on the society. See, if the right to information is a fundamental human right, then accessing data should also be the same. Just like we have the right to education, we should have the right to access information without financial barriers.
Yeah, I agree that. But what cost if everything? But at what cost if everything is free? Then creators and industry collapses. We have to find a balance about open access initiatives, but not justify outright piracy.
So, should we push for more open access policies instead of piracy? Should government and corporations work towards making information more affordable?
Yes, more universities should follow MIT's example and make their courses free online. Government should fund open access research instead of making people rely on piracy.
Yes, that's more ethical approach actually than simply legalizing piracy. Instead of promoting illegal activity, we should focus on making knowledge and digital content more accessible and legally.
All right, we had our deep discussion on both sides of this issue. Harsha argues that piracy ensures accessibility, while Naveen points out that it threatens industries and creators.
Yes.
I still believe that if knowledge and culture are locked behind paywalls, piracy will always exist as a way to break those barriers.
And I still think that while accessibility is important, piracy isn't the right way to achieve it. And the real solution is pushing for better policies that benefit both creators and consumers also.
What do you guys think? Is data piracy a fundamental right, or does it do more harm than good? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more updates. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you, guys.